goes. Welcome one, welcome all. Now give me an amen. Now how about a hallelujah? Hallelujah, people. It's show with no name time. Let's lift off together. 6, 5, come on. 3,
2,
come
1,
on.
0. Ignition.
Here we go.
Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. Come on. It's show with no name time. Come on, amigos. Let's rock and roll. It's the show with no name. Yeehaw! Let's go. Welcome, amigos of all ages, all levels, from all around the world. What an amazing group we've got here. That's for you guys, for all your hard work, your drive, your dedication, call it what you will, your energy, your oomph. Thank you. Thank you for making it so fun to teach you. Hey, listen, I've had some students, not recently, thankfully, but when I first started out, I don't want to be unprofessional here, but I had some students where I was like, oh my God, what a pain in the neck. Or, man, I would never hang out with this person if I didn't have to. And hey, that happens. But I've got to say, we lucked out. When I say we, I mean all of us here on Vaughn Radio, because we couldn't ask for better students. And I mean that. You know I mean that. I mean business when I say that. Que voy en serio. And I know all of you mean business as well. So welcome one, welcome all. Take a seat, stand up, hey, whatever you want. In fact, reminds me of the phrasal verb, incorpórate. How do you say that one? Sit up. Sit up. You know, when you're slouching in the chair, the teacher will say, sit up. Sit down es siéntate. And sit back es reclínate. O también relájate. So, folks, what better way to start the show? Sit back and enjoy your energetic English show.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right. If you want to master English, there's nothing like our masters. And as you know, we've got evening, we've got part-time, we've got full-time. If you want more information, you can stop by one of our offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza. You can get a free level test and just a consultation. You know, why not? Why not find out where you are? And if that's hard for you, or if you don't live in one of those cities, don't you worry, my amigos. You can do the same thing. You can stop by our website, or you can drop us a line on social media. All right, I think it's time to kick off with today's pop quiz.
Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz.
That's right, amigos. Welcome to your pop quiz. Also, a couple reminders before we listen up, which in fact, that's the name of the material we are looking at today. Listen up. But also, I want you to listen up because this is your last chance. You can say opportunity, but opportunity, that's 5 syllables. That's a lot of, that's a lot, a long word. So you can say chance. This is your last chance. This coming weekend, we are wrapping up Feria del Libro, another amazing edition, entrega. It's at Retiro Park, as you know, and it's stand 309. And you can get a 10% discount on Listen Up or any of our amazing materials. So stop by if you can. I believe Richard Vaughn will be there. Don't quote me. Always check, double check, como decimos. And, but if I'm not mistaken, si no me equivoco, the one and only, el mismísimo Richard Vaughn will be there on June 15th, 2025. I'm not sure of the time. Again, the best thing you can do in that case is, what am I going to say? Did you say follow us on social media? Because that's exactly what I was going to say. All right. So follow us on social media. Also, a quick reminder, it's also your last chance to participate in our question of the week. And I think it's a really fun one. You don't have to do much soul searching. Buscar en la profundidad de tu alma. No, what's a song that makes you feel good? It's uplifting. It's upbeat. It gets you going. It cheers you up when you're down. That kind of song, a feel-good song. We talked about feel-good movies one week. Well, what's that song? And I gave you a couple examples that I think anybody can get down to. Que cualquiera puede bailar a ellos, and that's upside. No, not upside down. What was the one? I'm so excited. I also gave you I'm walking on sunshine. We Will Rock You. We Are the Champions. I mean, these songs, when you hear them, all of a sudden, you feel like you can conquer the world. You feel like the world is your oyster. ¿Qué? ¿El mundo es tu ostra? Ostras, qué raro. See what I did there? Ostras, qué raro. Okay. Well, we say that. El mundo es tuyo. Te comes el mundo es, the world is your oyster. You can also say the world is yours if it's easier to remember. So 2 things. If you want to participate in the question of the week, do it before the end of the day, Thursday. And as always, you'll get an opportunity to practice. I just said, you say chance, and I said opportunity. Well, you'll get a chance, you'll get an opportunity, you'll get a shot, ahí tienes otra forma de decirlo, to practice speaking on a weekly basis. And that's great because everybody needs to practice their speaking. And on a weekly basis, what does that mean? It means you're being consistent. You're doing it every week. So keep it up. Those of you who participated, what can I say except the proof is in the pudding, como decimos. Sois la prueba está en lo que ves, lo que oyes. So keep up the wonderful work. All right, so as I said, we are going to listen up right now, not the entire book, because that would mean hours and hours of audio, more than 2 hours of audio to be exact. And basically, this is a book created by Richard Vaughan, by the way, and it has 88 different paragraphs. But these paragraphs are not just thrown in there haphazardly. Okay, haphazardly. A ver cómo toma palabrón. Haphazardly. Ahí está. It cannot be reached. Oh, okay, yeah, I was going to say, really? Caprichosamente, al azar, al aboleo. Hey, I've heard of that one. Anárquicamente, descuidadamente, de cualquier modo. You got a lot of ways to say haphazardly. Well, haphazard, hazard como peligro. So it's literalmente hap, como happen, una P, hazard, and then ly, como cualquier adverbio. Oh, man. That's crazy. Well, hey, those are the words. We have other weird words, too, like discombobulated, flabbergasted. Have you heard those words? Esos son palabrones. Discombobulated. Let's see how they translate that one. These are just words that sound funny. Discombobulated, desconcertado, perturbado. What's the matter, man? You look discombobulated. And the other one, see if you see, they're not even easy for us to say. We were flabbergasted. This sounds like something you would hear in a Looney Tunes commercial. We were flabbergasted. That means atónito, boquiabierto. These are fun words to say. Flabbergasted, haphazardly, discombobulated. Do you have any of those words that you like in English that you've heard recently? You can share them over here in the comments. And by the way, good morning to all of you. I see we've got a lot of students ready to rock and roll. All right, well, as the title of the book implies, listen up, because you know I'm going to have a couple questions for you afterwards.
Upgraded to first class for free. And now the vocabulary. To board.
Embarcar, subir a.
To be upgraded.
Subir de categoría.
Cabin steward or stewardess.
Auxiliar de vuelo, azafata.
Airline.
Aerolínea.
Destination.
Destino.
Captain.
Capitán.
Departure lounge.
Zona de preembarque.
First class.
Clase preferente.
Economy class.
Clase turista.
Passenger.
Pasajero.
Have you ever traveled in first class on a plane? My friend George was upgraded on his last flight for free because he's a regular flyer. The stewardess told him out of the blue, and he was very surprised. He had never traveled in first class before. Before boarding in the departure lounge, he had access to the first class lounge, a special area only for first class passengers. When he arrived at his destination, he could get off first. I'm so jealous. I've never got off first before. I'm always last. Will I ever be able to travel in first class? George loves that airline now.
Commuting to work. What a dilemma. And now the vocabulary.
To commute.
Viajar diariamente al trabajo.
To change.
Cambiar.
To travel or go by.
Viajar. Ir en.
To move house.
Mudarse.
To cycle.
Montar. Ir en bici.
Carpool.
Compartir el coche.
After moving house, I now have to commute to work. The only thing is, I have a dilemma. I can't decide how to commute. I should travel by train, but I have to change twice and it's quite expensive. I would cycle, but it's too cold in winter. I could drive, but I would have to buy and maintain a car, and that's just extra hassle. Going by train, I could kill two birds with one stone. I'd travel and would also be able to do some work on the train at the same time. My friend is in a carpool and loves it. This would be a great idea, but it seems unreliable. I should live closer. It would be so much simpler.
I've lost my ticket on the train. And now the vocabulary.
To lose.
Perder.
Ticket.
Billete.
Fine.
Multa.
To bribe.
Sobornar.
A bribe.
Un soborno.
To realize.
Darse cuenta.
Ticket inspector.
Revisor.
Journey.
Viaje.
To get off.
Bajarse.
I've just realized I've lost my train ticket. It's not in my bag anymore. I'm still on the train, and the ticket inspector hasn't checked mine yet. I've already set off on my journey. So if he finds me without one, even though I've lost it, I will still have to pay a fine. I could try to bribe him, but I don't think ticket inspectors accept bribes, and it would still be cheaper to buy a ticket. I will have to get off at the next train station and buy a new one. I can't believe it. I've really got off on the wrong foot today.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. That's right, amigos. Vaughan Town. It is one of a kind. It is life-changing. It's true. I'm not overstating it. No lo estoy exagerando. I've heard it from many, many students. I've heard it from Rob Grams, who used to be the MC at one of the programs. So the only thing I've heard about Vaughan Town is positive stuff, and more than positive. Stuff that's left me, para usar vocabulario de antes, flabbergasted. I said, wow, is it really that good? So if you want to find out more about one of our star programs, as I say in that audio, and it is, well, check it out. As you know, you can find more information at our website. You know it already. It's grupovaughan.com. And I believe most of you are following us on social media, so we shouldn't have any problem there. If you want more information about that or any of our initiatives, reach out. We'll be there to answer all the questions you have. We'll be there. Hey, I love that song. All right, amigos, we are already rocking and rolling. And as you can see, we are getting ready for the summer. Of course. That's why if you've noticed lately on the show, we've been talking about a lot of travel vocabulary, stuff that you'll need when you're out there this summer enjoying your well-deserved holiday. And I figured we could kick off looking at a couple different expressions that have to do with traveling. All right, another one. The first one, I should say. And you know this one from music too. So we've already sung a couple songs today. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Now, what does it mean? To start a journey, right? To begin. To hit the road, largarse, marcharse. We're going to hit the road first thing in the morning. Piénsalo, pegamos la carretera. It's not just an awesome song, but it's a very common idiomatic expression. And it's not only used with traveling. You know, oh, guys, it's getting late. I'm going to hit the road, right? So, but it's used with going. Well, we heard all kinds of traveling in that audio. The practical traveling, which is commuting. That's the routine traveling. And then the traveling you do when you're on holiday, whether you are somebody who goes off the beaten path. I know we've looked at that expression before. El camino menos transitado. You say apartado. That's what you say. Off the beaten path, or whether you're traveling on a shoestring budget. Seguro que hemos visto este también con poco presupuesto. Okay, and of course you have to, unless you're rich. Well, then, but most of us, we have to find a way to travel, to make we say in English, to stretch our dollar. Estirar nuestro dólar. Here it would be our euro. And what about you? Do you pack light or do you pack everything but the kitchen sink? Esa es otra expresión. So to pack light es llevar lo mínimo, right? To pack, hacer la maleta. And to pack everything but the kitchen sink es justo como suena. Has llevado todo menos el fregadero de la cocina. Okay? I know we've looked at this one. To have itchy feet. To have itchy feet. Does it mean you have athlete's foot? Yeah, it can mean that. But also it means that you are itching to travel. Y mira, lo podemos vincular con esa idea. I'm itching to do something. Si no has usado esta estructura, apúntala. Tengo el mono de hacer algo. I'm itching to go. I'm sure most of you, because we're at that date, it's starting to get hot, especially in Madrid. And I imagine most of you are itching. Fíjate me como la G. You're itching to go on vacation. You have itchy feet, right? Is that you? Because that's definitely me, right? And I imagine many of you, when you were younger, you got bit by the travel bug. And this is one we can apply to a lot of different areas too, right? I got bit by the theme park bug. O sea, el gusano. I think you say el gusano, if I'm not mistaken. All right. What else? Any more here that I can? Well, a Rolling Stone. I'm sure you know that from the group, the Rolling Stones. Well, a Rolling Stone is somebody who's always on the move. Somebody who doesn't put down any roots. All right, amigos. All right, well, let's see what we can extract from Listen Up. As I said, we were looking at all kinds of traveling, whether it's commuting, that's the one you do every day, or whether it's the one you do when you've got some days off and you want to make the most of them. All right, the first one is this is something I have used. If I say thousands, I'm probably saying too few times. I always do this because it can't hurt. But remember, guys, when you do this one, you've got to be as polite as possible, right? So remember, this is the key. If you're asking to subir de categoría, which we heard in the audio, how would you do that? Vamos a decir en un hotel o... Okay, so the verb, and you can use it it's also used as a noun, FYI. However you want to use it, just the idea is to see if you know how to use this. Podríamos subir de categoría. Es posible. Remember, I'm going to be looking at in this one, not just that you know how to use subir de categoría, but also your politeness. Because again, you're asking for something, so you better be really polite. All right, that is number one. Now, number two, they were talking about first class. Now we have something called business class. We have economy class. Well, I want you to give me another way to say economy class. Okay? So there's another way to say economy class, just so you know. So if you ever are flying around the United States and you see that, you'll say, aha. And it's a double trouble because it means something else. All right, so number two, I want you to tell me another way and use it in context. Siempre vuelo en esta categoría. Nunca vuelo. Mi tío. Use it how you would use it. Again, the whole reason I'm giving you this travel vocabulary here is so you can put it into practice. And who knows, a lo mejor te suben de categoría la próxima vez que vas a Londres porque ya sabes usar. A lo mejor antes no sabías pedirlo en inglés. So this is really practical stuff. And I'm going to tell you something. If I've asked 1,000 times, I would say 900 times out of 1,000. Estoy exagerando los números, pero para tener un número redondo. So 9 times out of 10 is what I'm really saying. They say yeah. So, but I ask if, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you my secret phrases that I use, and we'll see. We'll see if you know that one. The second one, so I'll go through them all again. And the first one is empezar con mal pie. Do you say so? No empezar con buen pie. I don't know how to say. ¿Ves? Estás viendo que no sé decirlo. Okay, so sí que decís, porque he oído empezar con buen pie, pero también se puede decir con mal pie. Pues es esa. And Lucia, my friend Lucia, used it in the audio. También decís empezar con el pie izquierdo. All right, my amigos, there you go. Those are your pop quiz challenges. Number 1, pídeme que te suba de categoría. Be polite. Number 2, another way to say economy class. And number 3, empezar con mal pie, something you guys know nothing about. Well, no, you do the opposite. Siempre empezáis con buen pie. We'll be right back. We'll check in with you guys. We'll see how you do on today's pop quiz. We've got our Say What soundbite. We've got Spelling Bee. We've got homophones. Tons of stuff to do. So stick around. Hey, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. It's great to have you with us for another exciting edition. Looking at a lot of practical stuff that can help you when you're out there this summer traveling around. Who knows? Another one I love to teach people. If you go to a restaurant in another country, in an English-speaking country, a key word you need to know is the word booth. Now, a booth es un buzón, right? A telephone booth. But also a booth is the table with the comfortable chairs, right? The one with the benches that are soft. The one where you get more privacy. ¿Cómo llama esos? Banquetes, you say? That's an important word to know. May we have a booth if there's one available? Te estoy dando parte de mi estrategia. May we have a booth if there's one available? And then you have a $20 bill in your hand. Luego tienes un billete de 20. All right, amigos, we've got to rock and roll. We're going to listen to a famous person speaking right now, and we're going to pick it apart in today's Say What soundbite. Yeah, say what? What? All right, amigos, it's your Say What soundbite. And I don't think you're going to recognize this voice. Well, I'll give you a clue. Unless you're into a specific sport. And also, like, if you watch that sport in English. So obviously it's a sportscaster, right? A commentator, a sportscaster, as we call them. It's a mix of the words sports and broadcaster, right? Locutor de deportes. So, I mean, that part's going to be, I think that part's going to be pretty evident. I don't think you'll recognize the voice, but again, that's not the important part. I don't really care who it is, not until the end. Right now, I just want to know what you heard in your best English. I want you to sum it up for me. And hopefully, before the end of the show, we'll get somebody who can get it all down perfectly. All right. Is everybody ready for the Say What soundbite? All right. Pay attention. Here it is for the first time.
Well, first, thanks very much for the nice thoughts that you have just passed on. And Reggie, with tonight's game winding down, I'm thinking, well, this is it. My last broadcast, and all that's going through my mind is I have been so fortunate to be doing this. Nice photo here for 55 years.
All right. There you go. Now, the hard part there is where he interrupts himself. Well, I do it all the time here on the show. I'm saying one thing, I stick something in the middle, and then I continue to say what I was saying. It's natural. It happens sometimes. But that's tough, though, because it's almost like a side thought. All right. Well, either way, I'm going to give it to you now a second time, and then we can discuss it.
Well, first, thanks very much for the nice thoughts that you have just passed on. And Reggie, with tonight's game winding down, I'm thinking, well, this is it. My last broadcast, and all that's going through my mind is I have been so fortunate to be doing this. Nice photo here for 55 years.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, amigos. It's vaughantienda.com, and you can pick up This Book is the Shit, among others. We've got so many materials, from complete courses to translation booklets with every structure you're ever going to come across in the language. And the most important thing, they all come with audio, which is so important because we're not practicing reading here. We're practicing speaking. We're practicing expressing ourselves aloud, in voz alta. So you know it. I don't have to remind you. Anytime you hear something, anytime you write something here on the show, I urge you to instar. I urge you to repeat whatever we're doing aloud, in voz alta. All right, a lot of students checking in with us over here. Good morning, Show with No Namers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another beautiful day. Don't let it get away. I hate you too. No te odio a ti también. Digo, U2. Seriously, I can't stand that group. I think I liked like where the streets have no name, the Joshua Tree, like an album or two. But then like the other 5 or 6, 7, I don't know how many they have. I don't know. I'm not alone, I realized. I thought everybody loved U2, but no, there are a lot of people in my category who are like, yeah, okay, whatever, U2. All right, let's see. We've got David in the house, rocking and rolling, ready to rock as always. He says, good morning, Alberto and mates. Good morning, sir. Open Waters says, morning, my English family. What's up, Open Waters? Great to have you on board. And Open Waters has already participated in the question of the week, along with Chris Valrol and other students. Don't miss your opportunity. Don't miss your chance to practice speaking every week. Participate in the question of the week. All right, we've got Born to Iron Man, superstar. And he says, hi there, AA and friends. Ready to pull out all the stops. To pull out all the stops is to do everything possible. To pull out all the stops to learn English with all of you. Let's go all out. Double totally native? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. So to pull out all the stops means to do everything possible, and let's go all out. Vamos a darlo todo. Excellent job. Born to Iron Man. Has empezado con buen pie. No lo voy a decir porque os lo acabo de pedir a vosotros con mal pie. Great to have you on board. All right, Open Waters, getting ready to participate here in our pop quiz. Let's see what he came up with. He says, may I ask for an upgrade? Absolutely. May I ask for an upgrade? Great, that works. It's very polite. The may I is very polite, and it's called an upgrade, right? I usually say, can I get an upgrade? May I have an upgrade if there's one available? Because sometimes I'm like, we don't have any rooms. And, you know, because then you got to always be ready for them to say, well, we're booked, fully booked. But if you say if one's available, sometimes they'll just check. But excellent, Open Waters. You got the first one. The next one, it's a too long flight. It's too long a flight, mejor, to do in coach class. Y quitamos el the de ahí, cambiamos el orden un poco. Y el class no hace falta. Coach, in coach. Yeah, no hace falta el class ahí para nada. En contexto se sabe qué es. So it's too long a flight to do in coach. Well, I've done a 10-hour flight in coach and then another 10-hour flight going to Japan. Oh my God, that was a long time. We call those long haul flights. Long haul, H-A-U-L. All right, excellent job, Open Waters, off to a great start. Mira, es otra, acabo de decir el buen pie. Bueno, de otra manera. Dan Feist, my amigo Dan, he does comedy here in Madrid. He organizes comedy nights. If you guys are not in on it, you've got to check it out. It's awesome. They do events almost every week. And if not every week, and they're in English and it's comedy, and who knows, you could end up on stage as well because they do open mics and all kinds of fun activities involving the crowd. If you live in Madrid, check out Dan Feist. He is a great friend of mine, and you'll find it'll open a Pandora's box of comedy. And hey, I mean, that's another great opportunity to meet people and make friends in English, going to the events we go to. And Dan says, I gotta hit the road right now. Nice, Dan, using the idiomatic expression, me tengo que pirar. I gotta hit the road right now. Have a great day, Alberto. Your show's a trip. Un flipe, I think you would say. Man, it's a trip. It means it's fun. It's great. Que a trip también es un viaje. Okay. Un tropezón, tropezarse. It's a trip. Algo divertido, right? something fun, something great. We looked at the word trip too the other day. To trip, tropezarse, remember? Trip, viaje, we said as well. And poner una zancadilla. So you can trip someone, you can trip on your own. And also we said trip was alucinar, right? You're tripping. You are tripping. So it's a trip. Es un buen rato. Es divertido. Thank you very much, Dan. Checking in. Let's see. Born to Iron Man participating in today's pop quiz. And he says, is there a way to get an upgrade on the flight? Perfect. Is it possible? Is there a way to get an upgrade on the flight? Please. Excellent. The next one, he said, I flew coach to San Francisco. Perfecto. ¿Y esta? Valen los dos. I flew in coach or I flew coach. El class no hace falta. So I flew coach to San Francisco. Awesome. Born to Iron Man. And the last one, he said, did you start off on the wrong foot yesterday? Yes. Oh, and open waters. I forgot to read your last one. My bad. I got up today on the wrong side of the bed. Excellent. All right. So to get up on the wrong side of the bed, to start off on the wrong foot, right? Or to get off on the wrong foot, right? Excellent job so far. Let's see. Chris Valrol participating. She says, my sister asked for an upgrade and they gave it to her, right? And they gave it to her because she's excellent at her job. Excellent. Good job, Chris. Te falta el it too. He got off on the wrong foot in his new job. Excellent. And the last one, I usually travel in coach class. Y el class otra vez no hace falta. It's not even necessary. I usually travel in coach. Or I usually travel coach. All right, and there's Chris saying, morning, dear show with no namers. By the way, por cierto, there's lovely Laura. Wow, what a great crowd we've got today. Laura says, good morning, lovely show with no namers. May I ask for an upgrade, please? Excellent. The next one. I've always flown coach, and I'd love to experience flying business class. Excellent. I was in first class like 2 or 3 times. Thanks to some listeners, by the way. I had some listeners, they're retired now, but they were working at Iberia, and they pulled some strings, recurrir a enchufes, I think you say. And when I got to the plane, they didn't tell me they were going to do it. The desk agent, right? The gate agent, you can say, or desk agent, took my ticket, crossed out seat number 27 and put 4. And there I was in first class. And it was a 7-hour flight, so I really appreciated it because I could, recline. I could sit back. I could lie flat, in fact. And it was really cool. And free wine. I mean, that was one of my, right when you get on the plane, they're like, would you like some champagne, sir? I'm like, hell yeah. And some shrimp cocktail. Bring it on. So, Laura, I hope you get to experience it. Hey, you know what? I recommend this. I recommend you join the rewards programs, right? Los puntos de fidelidad. In Iberia, it's Avios. Well, that's a good way to find out about cheaper upgrades, because a lot of times if you're in the club, they're like, bueno, por 50 te damos. So that's a little trick. It's still expensive. It's not cheap, but it's a good way to find out about them, being in their clubs, their membership clubs. And let's see, the next one, she says, the trip got off to a bad start, but then things started to look up. Totally native. Excellent. Things are starting to look up. That is a very totally native way of saying things are starting to get better. Things are starting to look up, or things are looking up, right? You can say it, or as Laura said, things started to look up. You guys, I'm going to say, you all sound native, so that's for all of you. There's Mariona. Mariona says, good morning, mates and AA. What's up, Mariona? Great to have you on board and ready to rock. Chris Valrol has something to say about today's Say What soundbite. I think it's going to be a tough one today, but you guys will pull it off. And to pull it off is lograrlo, right? All right, Chris says, I heard an American elderly man. Mejor, I heard an elderly American man who's expressing his gratitude. I don't know why. Maybe for something related to broadcasting. Maybe he spent 55 years in it en vez de on it. Absolutely, Chris. I mean, you nailed it. Yeah. So it sounds like maybe he's retiring. It's almost like a farewell to the fans. You got it. That's exactly what it is. So good job. Excellent job. Let's see. Laura. Laura says, I heard the farewell speech. As we just said, great word there. Farewell is adios, right? So if you're having a farewell party, y literalmente farewell is que te vaya bien. I remember how I say to you guys, let's see how you fared. A ver cómo lo hiciste. So farewell. And something we say, I know you guys know good luck, best of luck. Did you know Godspeed? Yeah, a ver cómo lo traducen. Velocidad de Dios. Es una palabra. Godspeed. Que Dios te acompañe. Ah, mira, toma. Yeah, no. Vaya con Dios. Buena suerte. Godspeed. Did you guys know that one? Hey, that could be a good double trouble. Que Dios te acompañe. He was speeding. Iba en exceso de velocidad. So I told him, Godspeed. Godspeed. So yes, farewell. One of my favorite ones too, another kind of party that's not a birthday party, is a housewarming party. ¿Qué? What? Housewarming? Calienta casas? What happens when your house is new? You need to break it in. To break it in, estrenarlo. And how do you do that? You invite your friends and your family over to warm up the house. Hacerlo calentito, hacerlo cómodo, hacerlo tuyo. So we call that one a housewarming party. So I heard the farewell speech of an American sports broadcaster. Absolutely. You can mix the two words and say sportscaster, who's thanking everyone for their nice thoughts, who deems himself really fortunate for having done this job for 55 years. Wow. You know what? What you've just proved here is it's not as hard as I thought. I thought you were going to have more trouble with it, but that is not the case. Excellent job to Chris Valrol and Laura. The rest of you, what happened? You didn't catch anything, or I'm curious. All right, well, let's see. Laura says, I've flown business too, thanks to my husband's avios. Sure. Well, that's what I was going to say. Like anytime you travel with the same airline 2 or 3 times, which in Spain, you bet you don't, I'm not talking about Ryanair here. But although I think they have a membership club too. But yeah, you gotta, even because you can get avios. We call them in English miles or rewards points. But we used to call them miles porque se calculaban por las millas que viajaste. Now, a lot of them have changed. And again, you can get gas. You can fill up the gas tank and be getting, travel points, these membership points. So Laura says, I've flown business too, thanks to my husband's avios. And when we were expats, it was just an example. Yeah, I don't think I've ever flown business, but first class, I think business. I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out. I know a lot about aviation, but I don't know the detail there. What's the difference between business and first class? And then you've got the suite class as well now. On some airlines have these luxury suites where you have a shower, you have like your own mini bar. I mean, it's insane. When you see that, you're like, oh my Lord. All right, let's see. Business and first class, according to AI, you got to trust the AI. No, I'm joking. But let's see what they say, and we can put it through the human filter. So business and first class on airlines offer distinct experiences, with first class being the more luxurious and expensive option. Business class generally provides comfortable seating, live flat beds, premium meals, and priority check-in, while first class offers a more personalized, exclusive, and indulgent experience with amenities like private suites, private lounges, and even in-flight showers. So yeah, that. And now there's two. There's one that's kind of between between business class and coach. And that is, what do they call it now? They call it Economy Plus or Coach Plus. And this just means, they're giving you the seat. You might have a little more leg room. Maybe it includes a meal. So I know that's a very popular option that didn't exist, let's say 10 years ago, I would say. I don't remember that class. So, all right, my amigos, speaking of class, we've got to take a pause in our class right now because we've got to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the second half of today's show. So, stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. This is part 3, or the second half of the show with no name. Call it what you will. Don't forget to stay tuned. You've got Gretchen with Speaking with Confidence. After that, you've got the Lunchtime Show with Rob and Andy. Don't forget about Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. The Salad with Dave Boyce. You never know what to expect with Dave Boyce, but there's never a dull moment. And then Kyle Miller will put you to the test on your commute home. That's right. And then when you get home and you sit back, te reclinas. We looked at that word a couple times. You should know it by now. We looked at it in the first part of the show. You sit back, crack open a beer or a glass of water. Doesn't have to be alcohol. In fact, better if it isn't, for you, for your health. And sit back and listen to Chris Frank as he tells you about all these interesting things. You've also got Richard Vaughn live if what you're looking for is interesting things. Then you've got the Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez. Don't forget about the Pro Bowl Show with Rob Grams. And right before this show, and I think the best way possible to warm up for this show is with Fitz in his program, No Excuses. Download the free Vaughn Radio app, and you can listen to us on the go when you're traveling around this summer. Also, remember, we're on all podcast platforms as well. You can search for Vaughn Radio, or you can search for the specific show. Speaking with Confidence, the Probo Show, or who knows, maybe even the show with no name. All right, folks, it's time for Homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name.
Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name.
The show with no name.
Homophones.
Show with no name. All right, amigos, as always, we're going to take a look at two words, and we'll look at them a little bit deeper afterwards, and there are many meanings if they have them. Any weird things, idiomatic expressions that we can get from them as well. Now, this first word, you better know. Why? It's aprendido, adquirido. So it's teach, enseñado. Okay, so enseñado. Es el participio de teach. You got to know this one because you are enseñado todos los días by me and my friends at Vaughn Radio. Okay, so the word is aprendido, adquirido, si hablamos de una habilidad. Que, eso lo sabías? No. Okay, and then if we want to say autodidacta, we would say self. Okay. So that is the first word. Again, I think you're all familiar with it because it's the past tense and the participle of the word teach. And the second word, I don't know if you're going to be familiar with this one or not. All right, well, it's tenso, tirante. If we're talking about maybe a rope, right? If you're playing tug of war, esta guerra con la cuerda, right? Cuando ambos se están tirando, well, it's tenso, right? Also, tenso, tirante, when we're talking about emotionally, too. Estás estresado, tío, right? No estás relajado. Piénsalo, estás tenso. So it's not just used in the figurative, in the literal sense, but it's also used in the figurative sense as well. So firme, tenso, tirante, firme. In forma, if we're talking about muscles. All right, those are your words. Hopefully you'll recognize them. And I want to know not only if you recognize them, but if they sound exactly the same or not. Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite for the third time.
Well, first, thanks very much for the nice thoughts that you have just passed on. And Reggie, with tonight's game winding down, I'm thinking, well, this is it. My last broadcast, and all that's going through my mind is I have been so fortunate to be doing this. Nice photo here for 55 years.
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
That's right, amigos. Stay in the loop. All right, let's see now. We're taking a look at today's homophones, and let's see what you guys came up with. Born to Iron Man. Well, first, let's read these comments. I've got a couple comments over here. Mariona says, first class is the top. Business, has escrito business mal. So, and this is a very common mistake, okay? So it's not just Mariona. A lot of people do this wrong. Business, la primera parte solo lleva una S. Las dos S las reservamos para el final. So business. es como se escribiría. And again, that's a very common mistake, so make sure you're not making it as well. So it's business. Piensa, la primera es como una Z, entonces solo una S, y al final, a lo mejor te ayuda. Business. O sea, la parte que suena como S es doble S, la parte que suena como Z es una S. Maybe that'll help. And she says, and business is the second one. And I know they have like premium economy, like there are a lot of different middle grades now in there. Because, well, they're saying, bueno, no vas a pagar 500 más, pero 200. Bueno, 100? They'll try anything if it works, So, and then she says, I used to fly in business class. Acuérdate, business otra vez con dos S al final, when I was working. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I had a friend too. He didn't travel in business class, but since he traveled so often, he built up a lot of miles. Acumuló a lot of miles. So when he did travel on, for pleasure, not for business, he was able to travel in first class because he just had endless. I think even some of his miles ended up expiring because he couldn't use them all. So that's pretty crazy there. Let's see. Open Water says, if you fly Ryanair in business class, they treat you like a human. That's an upgrade. Oh yeah, Ryanair, low cost. But I think also too, like you get what you pay for too, right? Like I love when people are like, I can't believe Ryanair made me pay for my suitcase. It's like, yeah, they also charged you 12 euros for your ticket. Like I don't know what you were expecting. I'm not forgiving or excusing the abusive behavior that a lot of these they treat people like cattle. I get it. We didn't pay a lot of money. You don't have to treat us like we didn't pay a lot of money, though. I get what you're saying, Open Waters. But I feel like sometimes people don't know. Like, you don't know what you got? You got a ticket to England for 40 euros round trip, and you want, like, the royal treatment. Okay. Now, if you get that same flight on British Airways, it's 3 times the price. If you look, so again, you get what you pay for. And I got to say something. I'm not going to mention any names, but I bought tickets. I try not to travel with the low cost ones for that reason. I want to be treated like a human, and I don't want my flight to be canceled because they don't give a shit and then no explanation. But you know what? In the last 2 or 3 years, I've had 3 or 4 flights canceled by a major carrier. I'm not going to say names. So sometimes, you spend the extra money thinking, okay, well, I'm going with a premium carrier here. Aerolínea, it's another way of saying airline, a carrier. And I got screwed just the same. So again, I think airlines in general, I love them. I love planes. I love that world. But, the thing I need to trust them with the most is the maintenance and the skill level of their pilots. I think that if that's okay, then the rest is kind of not as important. We could put that. We could take away importance from that one. All right. So yeah, Ryanair. We love to laugh at them, but I've got to say something. Their community manager is really funny. Oh yeah. Sometimes I just see it in my timeline and I'm like, oh my goodness. Because people are like, I can't believe this. I didn't get a window seat. It's like, did you read the ticket? And also you paid $10. So I don't know what you're looking for. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man gives us the 2 correct words in today's homophones. And he says they sound alike. Mariona says they are homophones. Maybe. Chris Valrol says they're homophones. Okay. Laura says are homophones. Oh, wow. So right now, right now, I think everybody, Mariona's not 100% sure, but I imagine now that she sees that her classmates are saying that they sound the same, she's going to be fully sure. Well, guess what? They do sound the same. The first one, taught. The second one, taught. O sea, the difference. The second one is spelled T-A-U-T, as your classmates have pointed out. O sea, la segunda es como debería estar escrito, no con esa GH. But again, we've got a trick here on the show with no name. Anytime you come across the AUGHT or OUGHT, well, there are exceptions. Many times I'll say, this is English, when you come across this as an ending in irregular verbs, it's the same sound. So bought and caught. Was that fish, dilo conmigo, por favor, was that fish bought or caught? O-U-G-H-T? Because I thought you said it was caught, but it's got, it's in a bag, so I imagine it's bought. So ought. You got to make that sound because it's going to help you pronounce a lot of irregular verbs. Let's practice some, okay? I'm going to say, did you buy it? And you got to say, I bought it. Es practicar el pasado. En voz alta. Did you buy it? Yeah, I bought it. Did you say bought it? Y fíjate, bought it. Lo uno. Did you bring it? Yeah, I brought it. Did you think it? Yeah, I thought it. Did you seek it? Buscar. Yeah, I sought it. Sought. Esa es muy difícil. Did you catch it? Yeah, I caught it. All right. So these are just some examples of those words you're going to come across. But the good thing, most of the time, that sound is ought. Y luego lo sabemos de una canción. You ought to know. You ought to know. Ought to. So también it's used as a modal verb. It's the same as should. You should know. You ought to. You ought to do that. You should do that. All right, amigos, we're learning with music, with movies, and all kinds of challenges. Wonderful job in our homophones. Great. And now it's time for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, amigos, it is our Spelling Bee here on the show with no name. And as always, Spelling Bee is a part of the show where we look at different words and those words are related in some way and they tell a story. So as always, I want you to listen carefully and see if you can jot down the words I'm going to spell. In round one, I'm going to be ruthless, despiadado. And again, you're going to come across people like that who are like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you didn't hear me? Your problem. Sadly. And the worst part is a lot of times you come across people like that who are working with people. You know, they work at an airport or you know, they work, as the taxi dispatcher. And you're like, the only thing I think to myself is, listen, you don't have to treat me great. But if you don't like working with people, there are many jobs where you don't have to work with people because it seems like you hate us, So, but it happens. It happens. You'll get it. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with you. That employee is underpaid. That employee is covering a shift and was supposed to be at a baseball game. We never know someone's story, so we shouldn't be quick to judge them. But it is a pain in the neck when you come across people like this, no? Cuando topas con esta gente que it's like, why are you even here? If you're so miserable and angry and don't want to do your job, just go home. You'll get fired, then just deal with it then, No, I'm just going to be here and angry and piss everybody off. But then I just think to myself, Alberto, you don't know their struggles. Tú no sabes sus luchas. Maybe, they just lost a family member. Who knows? You never know what someone's going through. It's still not an excuse to treat people like dirt, though. All right, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a winner in today's Say What soundbite. Please give it up for your classmate, Laura. Wonderful job. You even got the side note there where he interrupts himself. All right, is everybody ready? Let's capitalize the first letter of every word as we do. All right, the first one is Bicycle. The next one, excuse me. The next one, Dandy space Horse. The third one is Karl space VON space DRAIS. The fourth one is LAUFMASCHINE. The fifth one is PEDESTRIAN space CURRICLE. And the last one is SWIFTWALKER.
¿Qué tal vas de ánimo? ¿Necesitas un empujón? ¿Un poco de aliento? No sweat. No te preocupes. Pásate por vaughantienda.com y hazte con nuestro nuevo material multimedia. 365 días de wellness e inglés. Y viene de la mano de tu propio personal trainer profesional, David Gómez Agudo, conocido por sus miles de seguidores en las redes como Fitbull Coach. Trabajarás fitness, mindset, nutrición y por supuesto el inglés. Y viene con más de 250 vídeos para que entrenes junto con tu coach. Es un win-win. Haz que este año sea tu año, con 365 días de wellness e inglés.
All right, my amigos, let's see what we've got. Let's see if anybody got these words on the first go. Going once, going twice. Ooh. Oh, hang on. Born to Iron Man. Let's see what you came up with, buddy. The first one is correct, sir. The second one is also correct. So is the third. The fourth is perfect. The fifth one is great. And ladies and gentlemen, I am flabbergasted. He nailed it. Wow. Excellent job. And this topic is right up his alley. Justo lo que le gusta a él. Also, it looks like Laura and Chris Valrol. Are you kidding me? I can't go any faster. My brain doesn't go that fast. All right, let's get them going here again. This is round two. If you didn't get it on the first go, don't be discouraged. No te desanimes. Don't be discouraged. I don't think I could get it on the first go. I definitely couldn't get it on the first go pre-coffee. Antes de haber tomado un café. All right, here we go. Round two. The first one is BICYCLE. The second one is DANDY space HORSE. The third one is KARL space VON space DRAIS. The fourth one, LAUFMASCHINE. The fifth one, PEDESTRIAN space CURRICLE. And the last one is SWIFTWALKER. IFTWALKER. All right, folks, those are your words. Now, what's the deal with these words? Well, the first word was bicycle, or you can shorten it to bike. And the reason I chose these words today, and you'll see what they all mean, is that today, in the year 1817, we're talking a long time ago, 1817, the earliest form of the bicycle, called the dandy horse, okay? And the word dandy, ¿cómo se traduce? Dandy. Horse, ya lo sabes, como caballo. Genial. It's a little bit outdated, tampoco se usa mucho, but también estamos hablando de una palabra de los 1800, principios de 1800. So it was called the dandy horse, and it was ridden by Karl von Drais. He was number 3. So number 1, bicycle. Number 2, dandy horse. That was the name of it. Number 3, the man who drove it and pioneered it. The next one, 4, Laufmaschine. That was the German word for it. Another way they called it was the pedestrian curricle. Curicycle. Oh, I don't even know how to pronounce that. And the last one is swift walker. So as you can imagine, it didn't have pedals. You walked, and swift es rápido. Taylor Swift, veloz, rápido. So swift walker is what it's called. The swift walker, the dandy horse, the hobby horse, the Laufmaschine, and it was the predecessor to the bike. I've got to say something. You guys knocked it out of the park in today's spelling bee. And I didn't see any backpedaling. Well, hey, might as well show you a couple expressions. To backpedal, literalmente es a pedalear hacia atrás. But if we use it in the figurative sense, what are we saying? Dar marcha atrás. Hey, man, you backpedaled. And there are many other expressions that have to do with riding a bike. In fact, there's an expression that says, it's like riding a bike, which means it's something that you don't forget. Something, once you learn it, you know it innately. It's like riding a bike. One of my favorite ones, and this is not one we say in the United States, but remember how I told you guys a lot of times I adopt British English expressions. I adopt Irish expressions. Well, this one's used in the UK. Back on your bike. Back on your bike es lárgate de aquí. Vete a tomar viento. Hey guys, even me, I'm learning idiomatic expressions. I never heard that one. I heard people say, get back on your bike. Súbete a la bici de nuevo. But it was in the literal sense. Have you ever heard that idiomatic expression? Back on your bike. Lárgate de aquí. All right, amigos, we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget to join us at the book fair. You have until the 15th of June, 2025. We're at stand 309. And if I'm not mistaken, Richard Vaughn's going to be there the last day, the 15th of June, 2025. Stop by and you can get a 10% discount. Oh, yeah. All right, amigos, we have got a lot of stuff to cover here in today's final part of the show. And wow. Whoa. Wow. What if I told you today, instead of a double trouble or a triple trouble, we're going to do a quadruple trouble? Are you kidding me? And you know what the best part is? I have a feeling somebody's going to get it. You guys are that good. So it's that difficult, and you guys are that good. After our quadruple trouble, we'll listen to the Say What soundbite for the fourth time. We've got movies, jokes, famous birthdays, name that lyric, and man, whatever else comes up along the way. All right, is everybody ready? I think you know what time it is now. It's time for our quadruple trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, amigos, here we go with today's quadruple. I was going to say quadruple trouble. All right, here we go. Good luck. This is OTSS, baby. Only the strong survive here. Okay, él empezó a cortejarla. How do you say that? Cortejarla. Él empezó a cortejarla, a ser novias, a noviarse con ella, right? Invitar, buscarle. You know, this es un poco anticuado. En español yo creo también, ¿no? Ir detrás de ella, buscarla, ¿ok? Cortejar. So, el reflexivo, me imagino, como todo en español. So, cortejar. Te doy una pista, es parecido. That's why I left it, even though you don't use it too much. And in English, too, it's a little bit antiquated, but it's a word nonetheless. So, él empezó a cortejarla. If I'm saying it wrong, let me know. Y entonces le pidió la mano para casarse en la pista de tenis. All right? Y acabaron en un juicio. Ahora, la pelota está en su tejado. Whoa. Now, la pelota está en tu tejado. We listen to that one every day when I play the This Book is the Shit ad. So now I'm going to really know who's paying attention during the ad breaks as well. All right, so él empezó a cortejarla, a buscarla, y entonces le pidió la mano, le pidió casarse con él, en la pista de tenis. Y acabaron en un juicio. O la corte, te doy una pista. Y ahora la pelota está en su tejado. Oh my God, good luck. Hopefully somebody will be able to figure it out. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite. Laura already got it. Let's see if anybody can join her on the podium.
Well, first, thanks very much for the nice thoughts that you have just passed on. And Reggie, with tonight's game winding down, I'm thinking, well, this is it. My last broadcast, and all that's going through my mind is I have been so fortunate to be doing this. Nice photo here for 55 years.
All right, folks, 55 years. Anybody who's been doing anything for 55 years, man, you got to give it to him. And Richard Vaughn is in that category as well. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. I've got some comments. Okay, here's Born to Iron Man participating. Let's see what you got, buddy. He says he began to court her, then proposed on the tennis court, and they ended up in court. Now the ball is in her court. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Oh my God. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow, and wow. So, yeah, let's take a look at it here. All right, so he began to court her. To court is to date, to try and date her, right? As we would say in more modern vernacular. So he began to court her, then proposed or popped the question, we can say, on the tennis court. And tennis court we use for basketball as well. So para tenis y baloncesto usamos court. For soccer, we use a field. For football, el americano, we use a field. For baseball, we use a field as well. So it's interesting. Court. Volleyball, we use a court as well. So it's not used for all sports. So he began to court her, then proposed on the tennis court, and they ended up in court, en un juicio. Now the ball is in her court. Wonderful job, Born to Iron Man. Let's see, open waters. He started to court her and asked her for her hand on the tennis court. And they wound up in a court. Quitaría el porque hablas en general. They wound up in court, en un juicio, ¿sí? Porque no están hablando de una, sino en juicio, en general. Y me encanta el wound up, acabaron. And they wound up in court. Now the ball is in your court. Well, not my court, one of theirs. Como no especifique él o ella. So now the ball is in her court or his court. Y cuidado, no es on, sino in, metido en tu campo. Think of it that way. But wonderful job, and I love the wound up as well. Ended up or wound up. Great job, Open Waters. Just a couple tweaks. Mariona, he started to court her. Then he asked her for her hand and proposed on the tennis court. They ended up in court. Now the ball is in her court. Wonderful job, Mariona. Chris Valrol as well. And Laura. Jeez Louise. Guys, I gave you a quadruple trouble today. And you knocked it out of the park using another sports idiom. Well, you have definitely shown me the ball is in your court, amigos, and you've done a wonderful job. All right, well, I'll tell you what. To reward you for all your effort, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite places. So grab some popcorn. We're going to the movies. Name that movie. All right, here we go, amigos. Today's Name That Movie. I think it'll be pretty easy. Let's see. A highly advanced robotic boy longs to become real so that he can regain the love of his human mother. So a highly advanced, altamente avanzado, robotic. Remember, you say robot, we say robot. Robot. So same word, different pronunciation, robot. Y la palabra robotic, el adjetivo. So a highly advanced robotic boy longs, añora, he really wishes, he longs to become real. In fact, that's one of the lines in the movie. And this is so that he can regain, right? Reestablecer, reganarse, the love of his human mother. Sound familiar? All right, going once. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at the scene in the meantime, and we'll see if you've seen it or not. So, Professor Hobby, that's the professor's name. Professor Hobby tells David, the boy, what he was designed to become. And he says, until you were born, robots didn't dream. Robots didn't desire unless we told them what to want. David, do you have any idea what a success story you've become? A success story, un no, un cuento de éxito. You've become, you found a fairy tale, un cuento de hada. And inspired by love and fueled, alimentado, fuel, la palabra es, no, alimentado, fueled by desire. You set out on a journey, emprender, to make, and journey no es jornada, es cruzada. You set out on a journey to make her real. And most remarkable of all, no one taught you how. Vimos la palabra taught antes y sabemos que también es firme si quitamos la GH. So no one taught you how, and you ought to know how to pronounce it. And then they say, Professor Hobby says, we actually lost you for a while. Te hemos perdido durante un tiempo. But when you were found again, we didn't make our presence known because our test was a simple one. Where would your self-motivated reasoning take you? Razonamiento. To the logical conclusion that Blue Fairy is part of the great human flaw, and a flaw es imperfección. To wish for things that don't exist, desear cosas que no existen, or to the greatest single human gift, don. Gift ahí es don. The ability to chase down our dreams, perseguir nuestros sueños. And that is something no machine has ever done before you. And ladies and gentlemen, give it up for a machine, Chris Valrol. She's a machine. A movie machine. She says the flick is AI. That's right. It's artificial intelligence, which, did you know this? I didn't know this. Steven Spielberg obviously directed it, but Stanley Kubrick originated the project. He worked on it for 2 decades. I didn't say 2 years. I said 2 decades before his death. But then he asked Steven Spielberg to direct it, saying that he would do it more justice, as we say. And they collaborated. He didn't just say, here, take the project. They worked together. And, well, what you're seeing is really something directed by Steven Spielberg, but a project that Stanley Kubrick was working on for decades. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but well, it's a popular movie. Everybody remembers it. The concept is good. It's a great concept for a movie. All right, well, my amigos, we have got to move on. It's time for your joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, amigos, time for the greatest jokes you're ever going to hear. These are tennis jokes, and you are going to fall in love with them. Love, 0 punto. All right. That one doesn't count. All right, here we go. Here's your first one. Let's see if you get it. This is really the easiest section because all you have to do is listen and say, I got it, or I'm totally lost. It went over my head. If it's the second one, don't worry because I will explain it a moment afterwards. What do you call a girl standing in the middle of a tennis court? What do you call a girl standing in the middle of a tennis court? A net. Oh, no, I didn't. You get it? Annette. Annette is a name. Annette Funicello. Annette. We know an Annette here who listens to Vaughn Radio. Annette. But also Annette es una red. So what do you call a girl standing in the middle of a tennis court? A net. All right, I've got another one. What did one tennis ball say to the other tennis ball? What did one tennis ball say to the other tennis ball? See you around. No. See you around. te veo redondo. But also, see you around. Muchas veces nos comemos la A, especialmente los británicos. What are you doing round these parts? Right? So, see you around. Te veo, nos vemos por ahí. Ya nos vemos. See you around. See you around. Pero otra vez, quitando la A. See you around. Te veo redondo. What did one tennis ball say? All right. Last one, I promise. Why is tennis such a noisy game? Why is tennis such a noisy game? Because the players raise a racket. No? Well, raqueta, you know, right? That's an easy one. But to raise a racket is to make a lot of noise. Liarla. Hacer un escándalo. Stop raising a racket. We looked at to raise a stink, I believe, here on the show recently. And to raise a racket. Why is tennis such a noisy game? The players are always raising a racket. Also, remember this. A racket is an illegal business. A lot of times when we talk about mafia cases, we talk about running a racket or the charge, which is racketeering. So there you go, folks. Some tennis jokes that I hope you fell in love with. But right now it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
All right, amigos, it's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. Let's see who's celebrating a birthday today. The first person was born in 67. Not 1867, 1967. And she is an English-Australian actress. So that means she has dual. We don't say doble nacionalidad. We say dual, right? Como duo. So we have, myself too, not Australian, but it's called dual citizenship. And she is a British, she has British citizenship and Australian. And she's been in many films, such as Bedazzled with the lovely, what's her name now? Can't remember her name. I love her, but I can't remember her name. Elizabeth Hurley. Yes, how could I forget? Bedazzled. We looked at that one the other day. She was also in AI, Artificial Intelligence, which we looked at today. She was also in The Importance of Being Earnest and Timeline, and she has been nominated for Golden Globes. And, she's no doubt a talented actress. Speaking of talent, or having a gift, as we said before, this lady was born in 1979, and she's a Swedish singer-songwriter, musician, and record producer. Her debut album is Here. No te puedo decir, because that's her name. And some of her top 10 hits: Do You Know What It Takes? Show Me Love, Be Mine, With Every Heartbeat, Dancing on My Own, Indestructible, Hang With Me, Queda Conmigo. There you go. That's number 2. And number 3, one of the most famous sportscasters in the United States. They called him, before he retired, the voice of basketball. Like I said, we're talking about a lot of courts today: tennis, basketball. So yeah, he's done many. He's done Super Bowls. He did 8 Super Bowls. He's done Stanley Cup finals, which is ice hockey. But really, he was the voice of the New York Knicks. Then he became a sportscaster, and in the end, he was like, I can't imagine the basketball games that I grew up watching without hearing this guy's voice. Probably one of the most famous. I mean, you don't get the moniker the voice of basketball and the voice of the New York Knicks for not being an ace. Un as. All right, Chris taking a stab at it. Yeah, I didn't imagine anybody would get the last one without looking it up. Number 1, Francis O'Connor. Number 2, Robin. And number 3, Marv Albert. And that's going to bring us on over to today's Say What soundbite. And this is Marv Albert signing off for the last time, giving his farewell speech. And he says, first, thanks very much for the nice thoughts that you have just passed on. As you can see, he's well-spoken. He goes, Reggie, that's the guy's name, Reggie. With tonight's game winding down, llegando a su final, terminándose, winding down, okay? With tonight's game winding down, I'm thinking, well, this is it. Our last broadcast. And all that's going through my mind is I have been so fortunate to be doing this. Ponen una foto. He says, nice photo here. Buena foto aquí que estáis compartiendo. And then he finishes his sentence saying, for 55 years. Here he is, the legend, Marv Albert.
Well, first, thanks very much for the nice thoughts that you have just passed on. And Reggie, with tonight's game winding down, I'm thinking, well, this is it. My last broadcast, and all that's going through my mind is I have been so fortunate to be doing this. Nice photo here for 55 years.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
All right, folks, that's for you. Wonderful job once again. Don't forget to stay tuned. You got a brand spanking new show with Gretchen, and you will learn to speak with confidence as the name of the show. And remember, you've got amazing programs all afternoon, so just make sure you've got the Vaughn Radio app. Also, Book Fair, Stand 309. You've got till the 15th of June, 2025. Go by there, get a discount, see Richard Vaughn, and also remember, you've got just a few hours left if you'd like to participate in this week's question of the week. What is a song that always cheers you up, that's uplifting, that's upbeat? It puts you in a good mood. You can say that in a 1-minute voice note and send it to me at alonso@grupovaughn.com. Today, we're going to take a look at Robin. That's right, birthday girl Robin and her song Indestructible. We looked at the hable, a bull, pues ahí lo tienes, indestructible. And she says, I'm going backwards through time. Voy al revés, a través del tiempo. At the speed of light. Esa es clarísimo. I'm yours, you're mine. 2 satellites, dos satélites. Not alone. No, we're not alone. A freeze frame, cuando se congela el plano, of your eye in the strobe light. And the strobe light es esta luz de la discoteca que pulsa, right? It's that blinking one that makes it, that if you start moving, it makes it look like you're moving in slow motion. We call that a strobe light. Sweat dripping down from your brow. El sudor cayendo de tu brow. Your brow is your forehead. También se dice tu frente. Hold tight. Don't let go. Sujeta y no sueltes. Here's Robin with Indestructible, like you. All right, amigos. Thank you again. Stay tuned, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Show with No Name. I promise. Ciao for now. Come on. This is uplifting.